On this episode of Mobosinuola Goes to Work With, we spend some time with Sikeola, owner and head planner of Etal Events based in Lagos, Nigeria. Whenever I think of Etal Events, I chuckle to myself, remembering that in 2019, I was living in New York and planning my traditional Yoruba wedding that would be held in Lagos. My dad warned me that I could not plan a wedding on Instagram. I'm no fool. His concern was valid. In fact, during that time, even I had come across many Nigerian bridal story disasters. But after lots of research, I was convinced I would be in good hands with Etal. My mother and I reached out to connect with the owner. After meeting Sikeola, that feeling was further solidified. Not only did she make the planning experience seamless, when I arrived in Lagos a few days before my wedding, everything I requested was taken care of, from tastings, photo shoots, and much more. The day of, I remained quite oblivious to any issues that may have occurred in the background. Her team and vendors created an experience that people still talk to me about till this day. Since then, Sikeola has gone on to do many more weddings, birthdays, and other personal celebrations. However, she has also ventured into social and corporate events. In 2022, Etal Events was selected to execute the Lagos premiere of the film Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. Who is the woman behind the brand? I had the pleasure of reconnecting with Sikeola for an insightful interview into how Etal Events came to be and where it is going. Thank you again. Thank you again for having me. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go through your journey. So we're gonna take it back, the throwback, talk about where you are today, and then what you want to do in the future. So as a young child, what was your temperament like?
No, I'm not sure about temperament. I would say more emotional than temper. So I'd say an emotional wreck.
Emotional wreck?
Yes. Quite emotional. I cry at the smallest things.
Okay.
Yes.
Are you still like that?
Well, I cry a lot. Yes. I'm one of the ones who cries when they're watching movies.
Me too.
Yes.
So, kindred spirits.
Yeah, but not. I don't cry for work. Okay. See, so I cry for social things. I've learned to stop crying for work. So yeah, my tough side is at work, and then my soft side is at home.
How did you develop your tough side?
There's one of the weddings that we had, and CNN was meant to cover that wedding, I remember, and we were ready, and the generator at the event just went off. And the guy was sweating crazy. He was sweating so bad, and I just kept thinking in my head, God, what am I going to do? How does this guy record this thing? And I bought towels for him because it was dripping. I gave him cocktails, but that day was the day that would have broken me. If I had to break, I would have been wailing, but I couldn't. My husband would say stuff like, the hours that you take to cry, you need to use it to think about how to solve that problem. I said, okay, no problem, I've heard you. So I just thought about it and said, you know what, you can't cry right now, man. If you're crying, what do you want the bride to say? What do you want the bride to do? So I'm just like, okay, that's fine. And then I tried to figure out what to do, get a backup generator. And that was it. I think that was the last time. I didn't cry on that day, but that was one of the defining moments for me to say, you know what? There's nothing that is coming at you that you can't handle. Yeah. So there's no need to cry. Just figure out how to solve the problem. At least you know you tried your best, even if it doesn't work out well. At least you tried. Yes. Than crying.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, maybe cry when you get home.
Yeah. Well, not really. No. I won't cry anymore. I'll just move on from it. Especially if I know that I tried my best.
Yeah.
If it was within my power to put in my best and I felt I didn't, then I can feel bad. But if I've put in my best, then
it's all out of your hand. Yeah, I love that, because a lot of people are not good at troubleshooting or fall under pressure, and you're always under pressure. I feel like
I think that I work a lot better under pressure. I'm not even joking. Like,
Really?
when there's
Why?
pressure, my face doesn't look like this pressure. It almost someone's like, how can you still look like this? I'm like, I guess maybe because we're also numb to it because we see it all the time or almost every other time. So for a bride, it's different, or for someone who's doing their birthday, it's different. For the first time, maybe you're seeing a generator go off at your event. And for me, I've seen it multiple times. Do you understand? So it's just like, okay, let's call a generator company and tell them to start coming. It's not a big deal. We'll figure it out.
Your everyday is that, and then people's special moments is that. So it's a different exposure.
Completely, yeah.
Were you always like a leader, a project manager, or did you find yourself doing that because you love event planning?
Right, so I've never worked for anyone, first of all. I finished school 2010, I did my master's 2011.
What was your master's in?
International Business Management. Okay. I did my BSc in Banking and Finance. And then I started working for my mom, and that's where I got the name Etal. So she runs hotels, so she's a business person, and I think since I've known myself, I've been a business person. I remember my mom fighting me sometime when I was 6 or 7. I had gone to our nearby supermarket, like a kiosk, and bought all the sweets there and put it in front of my house because I wanted to sell it to the people closer to my house. And then my mom drove in that day and she said, please, what's going on here? I'm like, I just laid my basket outside. I want to sell sweets. And she said, can you pack this and go inside? But that's who I've always been. I've been a business person. So I'm not, I've realized that I don't know that I can do 9 to 5, but I thrive doing a lot of things because I get bored easily. So I can't sit in a place and then do the same thing over and over. Yes, I'll lose my mind, literally. And then 2014, my friends started getting married, and I realized that I just get up and then I'm troubleshooting whatever is happening in the venue. Again, at that point, I don't think that we were heavily sold on event planners. It was just, we were just starting to get what that job was called, but not necessarily, I mean, there were a few people out there already doing it, but from my own end, I didn't even know what it was. I just knew that, okay, I wanted to do this. I wanted to troubleshoot for my friends. When the MC is not saying anything, he's looking for the name of the person to say the opening prayer, I'm furious, like, why is there an abrupt stop? What's going on? And then I get up, try and figure out what's going on. And then I got married 2015. And then my mom says, oh, she has a sister or a friend or a younger friend that is an event planner, and that's who would help us put it together. Okay. And I was very active with her to say, okay, this is what I want, this is how I want it, this is who I want to do it, this one. And then I realized that, okay, this is the job that I'm trying to figure out what I like, and then I think this is what I like, you know. And then before then, I used to work with her in the hotel. So immediately I got married and told her, Mom, I think I want to start my planning business. And she said, okay, that's fine. And then I started as a bridal shower planner. Very small boutique events, 20, 15, 10, sometimes 5. That's how I started. But again, around that period, my friends were getting married. So it was easy for me to tap into that resource, or the people who were saying, okay, Shike, we've seen you move around, let's do it. And then from there, a couple of my friends just said, okay, if you can do the bridal showers, well, you might as well try your hands on weddings. I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll try. And that was it, literally.
I love that. Yeah. It's a very organic start.
Yes, it wasn't I didn't go to any school. No one trained me. So I literally then, my wedding planner then became like a big sister to me. Wow. And then I'll just feed off her to say, oh, this is what I'm going through, this is what I'm thinking, what do you think? And then that was it. I just eased into the events industry.
That is so exciting. But the growth was so gradual. Yes. So with the bridal showers that you did first, why did you want to start with bridal showers?
Again, you know how you're thinking, can I do it? Can I just dive deep into planning? Like, I'm afraid for someone to give me 1,000 people to plan or put their day in my hands. I'm like, I'm not sure I'm ready to do that with zero knowledge, nothing. So I want to start small. And then when I feel like I'm confident enough to say, okay, I'm going big, and then I can then go big. So we went from bridal showers. I think we did some birthdays here and there. And then I took on my first wedding. Actually, I took on my first wedding in 2015.
Okay. How big was it?
It was I think 600, if I remember very well. And it was a friend's friend. that just said, oh, she didn't have a plan. I wasn't even in the capacity of a plan. I was just, okay, come and help us put it together and stuff. I was like, okay, no problem. I'm happy to jump on this. Just at least let me gain some knowledge. You know, it's fine. So and then we got on it, and it was I feel like it was also one of the toughest events I had done till now. It's like one of the toughest ones because the parents were one of the ones who will say, oh, they didn't want a caterer. They had cooks who were going to make the food and stuff. Now, naive me back then was like, okay, you guys are going to make the food. It's okay. It's fine. It's okay. And then they had a caterer. And then by the time we were getting into the event, I think the event was starting about 1 o'clock. Caterer didn't get there till about 3. The cook didn't get there till about 3, I think. When he got there, I remember that there was jollof rice, but there wasn't fried rice. When the fried rice finally came in, the chicken had finished. It was such a nightmare. I kept thinking about it. Is this what this event planning is about? I'm not sure that and then I left it for another year or 2.
Wow.
Yes.
So that event traumatized you?
It did. And then I had to go. Me and the bride had to go at ourselves. I'm not even joking. And then she told me, you need to drop this to your planning hat because I don't think you can do it. I'm like, yeah. If this is what people expect, I'm not sure I want to do this. But please. And then I just left it because I was like, okay, maybe I'm definitely not ready for this. I'm not sure that this is what I want to do. Okay. But as time went on, I realized that even when I thought I was going to leave it, I just kept meeting myself back there. It was second nature to me. I just find myself trying to plan one party or one birthday, jumping in and say, oh, hi, can I help you with it? Can I help you with it? And that was it. And then before I knew it, people from my school, my friends, started booking our services big. And I would say 2016 was when we then went in full on and I said, okay, you know what? I'm going to make a logo. I'm going to create a company called Etal Events.
What does Etal mean?
Continue. So again, I think it's from my mom. I promise you, I didn't even bother looking at what's the meaning of this name. I just grabbed it. My mom's hotel is Etal Hotels and Halls. Okay. So I literally just grabbed it. And it's called Etal Concepts Limited. So it's just like a parent company that has just different branches. Etal Farms, Etal Bakery. Nice. She just has different things on there. So I'm just like, okay.
Let me add myself.
Yeah, Etal Hotel, Etal Events. I'm not even going to think about it too much. That's what it is. And I asked my mom, what was it? She said, it's, I think Italian, I think it's just for continuous. It was ETC, continuous, essentially. So it's just a lot of things that you just keep going. Yeah. I think that's what that is for her. And at the time, I had different names. And someone was already bearing. So I wanted, my name is Sarah, and my surname was Olowe at the time. So I wanted to say Sarah O. Right, and then I checked and I realized there was someone already bearing Sarah O. So I was just like, okay, you know what? I'd go for Etal. Yeah, and that's how the name came across. So I think 2016, 2017, we then started picking on jobs. And what happened then was my friends weren't doing small events. So it wasn't 100, it wasn't 150, it was 1,000, 1,200, it was 800. It was like I dived deep into it at once. It wasn't, there was nobody to say she cared. So I had to make those mistakes on my own. I had to learn the toughest way possible. From there, I created the boundaries that I was willing to allow people step in. And I just started to create a structure for myself to say, okay, you know what, this is how I want to be treated as an event planner. And if I feel that my values are not what you value or what things I think you should experience as a person coming to my party, or if I was going to coordinate your wedding, how I want to live there is how I want your guests to feel. And if you don't think that you should feel that way, then I'm not the one who's meant to plan your event.
What inspired you to create that boundary?
Right. I must have experienced quite a number of, I don't know if I call them bridezillas. Well, I've experienced also, like I used to ask God in 2020 that, why do you give me the toughest jobs? Or like, why do I have to face the toughest job? Like, why is it so tough? Why is it my event that my client is asking me, please create a empty space and then just create a hall for me within 2 days, 3,500 guests, and I want to have the event? I'm wondering, why? why can't you just give me a small event and say, Shike, I just want something cute and nice. Like, it's the tough ones that I get. And I think for me, with events as I grew, it wasn't about money. It was more of, I just wanted to give of myself and see you smile on the day. And I was happy to do it. But I started to experience burnout, right? It was just me, maybe managing 20, 25 people at the same time. Having to be emotionally available for those guys was a lot. I had recently had a kid, 2015. I had my son, 2019. So I was new in marriage, new in business, new mom, and just trying to navigate the whole thing. At the same time, I was getting fat. It was a lot, and you had to put that at the back burner for the brides that you were working with because they had to come first. There were people who would call you at 2 a.m. in the morning, and I felt obliged to pick those calls because I'm like, I don't want this person panicking. And at that point, I didn't know I was sinking because I was giving of myself to everyone, and then I wasn't taking care of myself. And then there were a couple of people that I feel that I gave of myself to and tried to give. I think you feel the hurt more when you give of yourself to someone and they don't appreciate it, right? And so when it happened, I think we had it on 2 occasions where one major one for me where I'd given of myself to the person and I'll pick up and I'll be there even if it's 7 p.m. in the evening, and she calls me randomly and says, oh, I need to see you, or 9:30 in the night. I'm busting out of my house. If it has to be till later in the evening, I am there the entire time. There's no time that wasn't convenient. I would leave my house literally and just go and attend to the person. And it wasn't enough. So maybe one of those days where I was deep down in my emotions, I couldn't do it. And then I said, I can't take a meeting today, I'm sorry. And then the person just flares up and then just takes it out of context, gets angry. You know how brides, I feel like sometimes they just overthink things. It's not as you are feeling at that moment. Just extend grace to the person next to know that this person also has a life. Like the world doesn't revolve around you with stuff like that, right? But a lot of brides don't understand it, and it's fine. It's just they are trying to navigate who they are and then trying to work it out. So those are the experiences I had growing. And then when that thing happened to me,
did you know you were burnt out when it happened?
So I didn't know what it was. I just knew that I didn't feel like talking to anyone. I was getting short-fused. Nothing was exciting me. So if I see the events, I'm just like, okay. I think I had 1 full staff at the time or 2. If they say, oh, this is the theme, I'm like, okay, guys, Alpha, this is the theme. Let's go ahead. There was no excitement for me, and that's not me. And then I started to realize something is definitely wrong. I don't know what it is. I wasn't going on holidays. There was no time out. There was no. It was like it was back to back of work. No time for nothing. It was just work. And then I think 2019, 2020, I then started designing as well as a decorator. Okay. So it's like I just kept packing on.
It's Etal. Just kept on going.
I just kept packing, and I feel like I took that from my mom. She just doesn't know where to stop. And then I just saw that happening to me. I was just taking on the boarding, taking everything in. And I said, Shike, you need to slow down. It's time to slow down. So when that happened to me, and that lady, she insulted me so much. Oh no. She insulted me on Instagram. Yeah.
She took it public.
Oh yeah. She didn't mention my name.
Okay. But she was being shady.
Everybody knew who was married already, for God's sake, And the painful thing for me was I couldn't defend myself at that point because I had evidence to defend myself. But do I then want to start telling them the back end of what was happening, and it gets messier? So my husband would say, Shike, there's no need. Give it 3 days, 1 week maximum. It will blow over. Nigerians they don't. Something is going to come and it's going to blow over. But it was 1 week for people who saw it online. It took me over a year, if not more, to get over it. And I will brood and think over it constantly, and say, what could I have done better here? How did I get here? And then I figured that it was because I had extended myself to that person too much. And I didn't set the boundaries. And so that was the beginning of me setting boundaries for my events, to say, you know what? I have a 9 to 5 policy now. We work Tuesdays to Fridays, 9 to 5. If I decide to respond after 5 o'clock, it's at my discretion. That I'm feeling happy and I don't feel overwhelmed in my spirit, I would reply. If I do feel overwhelmed, at no point can you come and fight with me that she can send you a message at 9 o'clock, you're not picking up, because you already know how I operate. And it's not stemming from a place where I feel like, oh, I don't care about the brides or anything. It's just, for me, I can't pour from an empty cup. Exactly. I need to be able to be full for me to give up myself to you.
Absolutely.
So if I'm not, I can't give. So I think that was the beginning of it for me to say, okay, you know what, you need to set up an office. This is definitely not a joke. I don't think that I'm going to do any other job other than the events industry that I am currently. So I might as well do it and do it well. So and then I took on teams. I had 5 people. I distributed my brides across the 5 people for them to manage directly before it gets to me.
Okay. So delegation?
Exactly. So essentially shared the weight from my end. And I see my staff now when they get burnt out. I have one of them that's like, Ma, when I see the text messages, I feel anxiety in my soul. I said, don't worry, I've been there. Yeah. So I know what it is. You can take some time off.
Do you give your brides disclaimers now? Like, this is how my policy is?
Yes. So I usually like to talk to them first. I like to know who I'm working with. The people who have come and then I said, you know what, I don't think we can work together. Not because I hate you, or not because I don't like you, but I feel like our perspectives are different, right? And we will be knocking heads a lot. And it's a process that should be enjoyable for you. I don't want you to be thinking about your event planner and then I'm calling you like, why is this person calling me? I don't feel like talking to this person. Absolutely not. I want you to feel butterflies, maybe not the one that you're feeling for your husband, but feel excited when I call you to say, okay, this person is about to give me joy news. Or even if I am about to bear a news that you're not totally excited about, I'm not the victim, right? It's just something. I'm here to solve the problem. There are things that go wrong and we're here to solve the problem. Some people just feel like, if the water spills on the floor now, it's the event planner. If the generator goes off, it's the event planner. We are the ones that get the brunt of virtually everything. And so it's just setting boundaries for me is the way that I'm able to cope and give of myself. If not, I run out of the events industry. I can't do it.
That's a great segment, because boundaries is hard to create in any job, in every job. And I think that we all find ourselves overextending ourselves to people, but your relationship with people is so intimate. So I see why, and brides are very emotional. So, and I know that energy is transferable. Where it's like, if you're taking it on too much, it's like, oh no, I need the break, I need the cloud, I need to remember who I am before all of the energy that you're bringing. So how do you teach that now as a leader and delegating amongst, how do you teach that to your people now?
So I'm very, very vested in their emotional balance. I feel like because I've been there, I know not to push some buttons. I like to hear them speak and tell me what they feel. And sometimes when they feel, I'm pushing them too much, I'm like, yeah, sometimes you have to be pushed, but we take breaks. We do. We love breaks here. We do take breaks. We take breaks. Not because of anything, the job is just a lot. You have to manage aunties, uncles, friends, best friends. There are lots of people you have to talk to in one wedding. Compared to any other person. And other than talking to just the family of the couple, you still have to deal with the vendors. Vendors also feel emotionally, I don't know whatever happens with them, but you also have to manage your emotions with those guys. If not, they're going to tell you are too arrogant, you don't know how to talk, you're just bossing them around. So there's that emotion there where you have to balance it and know that, okay, even if you're having a bad day at work, you can't transfer it to anybody else. And then you still have to balance that place. So what I usually tell my team is just spread it out a bit. If you feel overwhelmed, leave it and come back to it. So when they yell like that, and then the human beings, my team, everybody has blood flowing through them. So if you yell first, second, third time, they also start to feel some sort, I won't say resentment, but they just start to feel very lukewarm towards you. And they're like, okay, I don't want to play with this person anymore. I just want to go straight to work. And I don't feel emotionally vested. I don't feel like giving of myself to this person anymore because they don't know how to speak, you know. I just tell them, just know that, imagine that this is one of the best days of your life and you don't want to get it wrong. That's what's wrong with them. So when they go off one to time, I can then call and say, guys, I think you need to calm down. We'll be fine. There's nothing that is wrong. Don't hyperventilate. Don't transfer this event. I hope it doesn't crash. I hope it's not sport. I hope it's not bad.
Some people are having dreams of nightmares.
Like, just calm down. It'll be fine. Yeah. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. But I also tell them, step out of it. Step out of your work schedule. Go and do something else. Just release yourself of work. Don't think about it. And then you'll be fine. I deleted everything concerning events from my personal page. Yeah, I unfollowed every event person that I know, every event page. At least I think I just got my mental balance back. So I added maybe a couple of people back.
How long did it take you?
From 2020, maybe like late last year. Okay. I was okay with the idea of looking at events on. So once I get overwhelmed like that, I just run away from my company page and stay on my personal page, and it's a different world entirely there. Yeah. So there's I'm not clicking and seeing events there. I'm just fine.
Separation.
Yes.
Important.
So I just stay on that end, and that's it.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And so now you're post-burnt.
Yes. Yes. I can say that. I can say that definitely.
And you're bright and you're shining, and you're bubbly, and you're inspired.
Yes. I decided to I don't take any work in August because I fly with my kids for a month.
Nice.
So August is just me and my kids' time. On Sundays, I try to stay with my kids as well. And then 24th, 25th, 26th of December, I don't take any work as well. Regardless of whatever it is. It's time for my kids. And then New Year Day, I don't work. So other than that, then we're free. But those days, I try to keep them as special as possible for them. And then every February, I take off Valentine's period as well, with just me and my husband, so that I just need to break away from the stress of Nigeria and then say, okay, you know what, when I'm not working, I'm not doing anything, I'm just enjoying me and doing what I like.
Listening to you, I'm thinking of the power of no.
Yes.
Of just be able to say, no, yes. I can't do it. No, I'm not available. Mm-hmm. No, not this day, no matter what. Mm-hmm. And being loyal to that.
Yes.
People have to respect it. But the temptation, I know the temptation is sometimes there, but what you're preserving is just so important, especially with your children. Like, they're gonna remember those moments that you curate for them. So that's really beautiful. And I'm just so glad to see you post-burnt. Because some people, it takes so long for them to get out of it, or some people don't even know how to get out of it. So what's your self-care regimen now these days?
I honestly don't have one, I would lie. But like I said, there are days when I'm just checked out. Okay. And if I'm checked out, my assistant knows that I'm checked out. So she won't bring anything work to me. Mm-hmm. And then for me, self-care doesn't even mean that I'm going anywhere or I'm doing something. It just means I'm on my bed, not doing nothing.
That's self-care.
I'm just in my blanket, eating and sleeping the whole day. And sometimes I feel like, oh, I'm burnt out. My brain is combusting, but I just need a day to sleeping, eat and sleep. By the second day, I'm fine.
I love that. I love that. I mean, sleep is good. Yep. Really good sleep. Is very good. It's good for your spirit. Uninterrupted sleep. Yes.
And then when I'm sleeping, my phone is off. In as much as my kids are in my house and my husband is in the house, my phone is off or it's on silent. There's no call.
It's so important because a lot of us are scrolling,
once you wake me
texting.
I have bad headaches till morning, and it just transitions into my day. So a lot of things have happened where I've had to, you know what, okay, this is the way to manage me. Mm-hmm. For me to be able to give to every other person, let me find things that I know that stress me out, and then just curb them there. So most of the time, yes, my phone is not online. And then I think now what gives me anxiety most is my WhatsApp. Mm-hmm. Yeah, my WhatsApp. When you wake up in the morning and just see 561 messages, I'm like,
500.
I'll just close it and then drop it, and then tell my sister, in case there's anything that is really important,
let me know.
Please hit me up, but if not, I'll chill. And then sometimes I just pick it at 9 or 10 p.m. at night, and then reply to everyone when I feel like either they're sleeping or they will not quickly reply me. And then run away from there. But yeah, still, I think I'm still on that journey. I'm not burnt out anymore for sure, but I'm still on that journey, finding me and trying to still put perspective into what I want in life, how I want it, and how I want to be treated.
And speaking about how you want to be treated, I know we talked about the brides, but we also mentioned the vendors a little bit. How did you begin to curate relationships with vendors and build relationships? Because you work with them multiple times, unlike the brides for like one event for years, you work with vendors. So how do you curate the vendors that you work with and build relationships?
So first of all, I think I try a lot with referrals. I think it's like one of the most reliable ways of getting vendors. And then it's up to the vendor after they've recommended you to then say this is, or try and keep that relationship, and then make sure that the person who is hiring you can't call you again. So that's how I get from relationship referrals and Instagram.
Instagram, really? What makes you call a vendor on Instagram when you see their page?
I think the first thing that will usually draw you there is aesthetics, I would say. For a food vendor, first of all, I think you eat with your eyes first before you take the meal in. So if it's presentable, it's the first level where you feel, okay, this food looks really good. The plates look nice, the table setting looks good. Let's try and reach out to this person. And the next level is when you're then having to physically taste the food to say, okay, this food tastes nice. So it doesn't just look good, it tastes nice. Yeah. And then the third level is when you're then talking about the actual service. So on the day, do you get to the venue early? Do you set up early? If it's time for you to serve food at 2, are you ready? Or are you one of the ones that forget their food at home, or forget the soup, or so I think it's just all those things. So the first thing I'll say is aesthetics. By the time you see it at first, you're drawn to it to say, okay, this looks nice. Let me look out or reach out to this person and see what their services look like. And then after all this, I would say your behavior goes a long way as well, because you have good food, good attention to detail, doesn't necessarily keep you in business.
True.
I think how you manage your relationships with people goes a longer way for you than just having nice food, to be honest. I've had situations where I know that this person's food is good, but I feel like their behavior is just in the gutter. I'm like, yeah, I don't want to deal with this person. So there's no way. This is the only sweet food in Lagos. So we're gonna figure it out. So yeah, I'd say they managing their relationships with the planners matters a lot. And then from my end as well, like I was saying, when I think 3 years into planning, I'd say my passion was getting me drunk. So if you did not deliver as I expected you to, I used to be so mad. I'd be very angry. I'd just throw caution. I'm like, okay, don't do it again. I don't like it. It's fine. And then you do it the second time. Then shame on me if I didn't call you the third time. And then I let you do it over and over to me. So I think it's just understanding the dynamics of what happened. Was it a mistake from your end? Because sometimes even the owner of the business doesn't even know that there's a mistake there. Probably just be a staff who has just messed something up in the middle there, and then I'm sure the owner is just there in his mind like, God, can I do everything by myself? So, and I think that I understand that because I have been in the capacity of a vendor, so I understand what it is for sometimes when you have a vision and you've told your staff to say, pick from point A, deliver to point B, and from point B, go to point C. Your staff in their mind thinks that they are smarter than you, so they'll tell you, okay, I thought to go from point A to point C and then coming back to point B. And then they don't know the impact or how that can just mess up the entire day. Yeah. So is it that, do you have to then speak to the vendor to say, okay, I think you need to buckle up in terms of the kind of people that you have, or give them repercussions? If you see the person is a bit lenient and they're not able to take it on, then you know that, okay, I can't keep babying you. You're well making money, so exactly. You want to be able to, yeah. So I think I understand that clearly to know when someone is actually taking the piss with the job and when it's just a genuine mistake that they wouldn't make again.
It sounds like you approach this job from a place of emotional intelligence. Do you feel like everyone does that, or is it unique to you?
I don't. I feel like to survive in our industry, you need a heavy amount of emotional intelligence and not fighting. There's no permanent enemy. And I always tell people that if you don't deliver my job now and you see me yelling, it's not, I don't hate you tomorrow. It's just in the present when I feel like you haven't delivered it, that's it. You see me tomorrow, I'm going to greet you, except we got into an altercation where I'm telling you that I'm upset that you've done my job badly, and then you're then giving me attitude or something like that, and I cut off completely. But yeah, for every time that you have an altercation with a vendor, I don't think that you should throw the baby in the bathwater away. There's situations where it might be a genuine mistake. There's situations where they're also battling life issues.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, they're just different things. So if you keep fighting with everybody, you're good. But as in, by the end of 10 years, you have made more enemies than friends. And our event industry revolves, as in, it just goes round. Today, I might be the person who's recommending you. A vendor might be in the position to recommend you tomorrow. Say, oh, this person, I can vouch for the person. Yeah. But imagine fighting with, or maybe 100 vendors, you have fought with like 80 of them because they did not deliver the service. And everybody's just against you. You know, so it's just knowing who, again, maybe of 100 people, pick 2 people who you feel really have your back, and then just be neutral with everybody else.
So at this point, do you have a core group of vendors that you work with, or are you always taking on new vendors?
I would say, I won't call them core, but we have a couple of people that we like to work with. We're not bound by them to say that, because again, give for example caterers. There are about 5-10 caterers that I feel like we can work with confidently and will deliver the job. Same as cocktail vendors, same as drinks vendors, same as food vendors, same as decorators. So if within the pool of the people who we feel like can deliver the service to the standard that we like, people we recommend. Now it doesn't mean that the client then comes and says, oh, I have a vendor in mind. My contract just states that if I don't recommend the vendor, then I'm not responsible for them in terms of if anything goes wrong, you will not fault me for it. Okay. If it's the vendor I recommended, then I will be held responsible 100% for it.
How does that conversation go with people sometimes?
I think it's pretty, I haven't had any pushback on it, to be honest, because I'm holding myself accountable as well to say if I bring the vendors, yeah. So if you bring the person, I will push within my possible best to tell you that I will give them all the information that they need. It's up to them to deliver the service. If they don't, you can't then fault me and say, the drinks vendor didn't bring cold drink. That's not on me. Like, my own vendors will bring cold drinks, you know. So I think it's, except somebody is just going out, the person is just mad. Then you see the contract and then you're wondering, why are you doing that? Remove it. And then immediately you even tell me to remove it, I know that you're already going against my policies. That means you want to outrightly frustrates me. So I'm just like, okay, yeah,
we can work together.
Exactly. So there are things already put in place where I feel like once you start to flag them, I know that, okay, yeah, this is not going to work. Because if you're being reasonable, there are things that are reasonable there that I don't think we've crossed your boundaries at any point. Yeah.
And we talk a lot about brides, but what other type of events do you like to do? Corporate?
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
People would consider that boring. Tell me, why is corporate?
So I think first of all, they pay more. The pressure is less. Okay. You don't have a lot of people in your business, or you don't have to manage too many people. Now you manage a core group of people going into it. This is what we have to do. This is what we have to do. And I feel like my friends will say stuff like, Shike, I think you thrive more in the corporate world than the wedding world. And again, I am a softie, I know that, but events has taken that part of me and put it in the bin when I'm at work. Yeah. Not to mix business with pleasure at all. If it's business, and then so sometimes I have situations where people say, I am so straightforward, like I don't play, I don't smile, I'm just straight to the point. I'm like, yeah, because please let's get this job done. So that, I think that's why I like corporates. There's no Yeah, people are not overly jesting anyway. They are also business guys. It's 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock is time for meeting. Yeah? If it's 1 o'clock, we have a meeting for 30 minutes. They keep me to it. There's no, oh, sorry, please, I forgot my mom is not feeling fine. I need to meet her. There's nothing like that. And if there has to be, it's an official thing. You're not feeling, oh, I'm feeling upset that this person doesn't want to cancel their time for me because my mom was sick. It's nothing like that. And I get the emotional part of it, but sometimes when it's a lot, it also tells on you. So that's, I think, for me, corporates are where I'd really want to venture into a lot. Yes, I've started bit by bit. I think I started venturing into it 2022.
And how do you get corporate clients? Because you started off with your friends in bridal and such like in parties. So how did you transition into corporate?
My friends.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
So
shout out to your friends. Your friend group.
My school group are solid. I can't. I won't say my success story without saying my school. Be it my secondary school, my uni, my masters, all of it. The group of friends that I've made out of those places have spoken my name in places where I'm not present.
Wow.
And I really appreciated them. I think I mentioned it on Instagram a couple of weeks ago or months ago that my biggest jobs have come from my friends.
Wow.
They have recommended me and said, Shike, I can only recommend you, but you have to do the job to get it, So some of them, a lot of them work in corporates. So all they do is say, oh, I have this person who I feel can do this job, and then they just call you and say, hi Shike, I've put your name down, my corporate com is going to message you, it's up to you now, the ball is in your court, deliver and let them say, okay, this is the person for the job. And then that's it. So that's how I got in, and got my first international gig with Marvel Disney, to plan Wakanda Forever, the premiere, the premiere for Africa.
Which
and
was
amazing. So it was someone who had recommended me to say, okay, Shike, I don't have anything to tell you. They're going to give you the brief, and then you need to go and think about it. And then I thought about it and slept on it and did the work. And then by the time I sent it to her, during the presentation, because I refused to send it to her before the presentation, so I was about to present, I sent it to her. She said, you brought a gun to these fights. What? I said, yeah. I wasn't joking. I had time on my hands. And I think that also stemmed from, because it was 2021 that I had all the issues that I had. And I tried to put structure in place at that point. I was getting better. And then I used the entire month to just put that pitch together.
Wow.
With a couple of people that worked with me then. And then that was it. And that's how we started, pretty much. Before I knew it, there was a client who had done her wedding during COVID, actually. And it was for 50 people because it was COVID, so it was very small. And then from there, she called me to say, oh, hi, Shike, I just wanted to find out, do you do these weddings or you do corporates? I'm like, yeah, I do corporates, that's fine. And then she said, okay, I'll recommend you to my office. And and that's how it's literally gone. And then we've been picking up bit by bit. But I think I want to do more in the corporate world.
Okay, so corporate, Etal corporates.
Okay. I love it.
You heard it here first.
Yep.
No, I love that because they're so different, but how do you feel like your creativity changes from bridal to corporate?
So I think it's more activations for that bit. I don't think it changes, to be honest. If you are creative or not. So whatever space that you find yourself, you're just going to fly. At least that's what I think, and that's what's been happening. So it's just basically thinking, what will the corporate world want, and then what will the bride want? It's completely different, but in the power of the people who you work with as well is just to tailor the guys who work with me to say, okay, when I take an interview with someone trying to hire the person, I can tell who would work best as a corporate team, and then who will work best as a fairy tale, lovey-dovey kind of person. And I just basically start breaking them from there.
Oh, I like that. Assessing them in that way. Leaning into people's strengths.
Yes, absolutely.
And how, your creative strengths, were you always creative?
I don't think so.
Okay, so let's talk about that, because people think you have to always be creative in order to be creative.
No, I don't think so. Or, yeah, I don't think so.
When
First
did you
of all,
become creative?
when I started events, I think.
Really?
Yeah. I thought I would be an interior designer at first, but because I didn't think I was creative. I'm not even joking. I don't know how to draw nothing.
Okay.
So I can't hold a pen or a paper to myself and say, okay, draw a baby girl or draw a house. I'm going to feel bad at it. So I didn't think, am I sure this girl can do this job? But I've seen myself drawn to it and be able to picture stuff, even without seeing it. I can enter a space and say, okay, this is what I'm thinking about. And then the idea of just trying to put everything together when you see it online or see it on. And I think the world has made it easier now. You have Pinterest and the places where you can look for things, even when when you visualize it, but you haven't seen the pictorial evidence of it. When you see it, you're like, oh, this is what I was talking about. Yeah. And so I think it's made it easier compared to maybe 15 years back where there was nothing like that, or there are no resources for you to do any of those things. So yeah, I'd say creativity fell on me.
At the perfect time.
And yes, I think is also it's stemmed from, I'm a hustler. I know that I cannot fail. So I think other than me thinking, oh, it just comes to me naturally, I must walk my way to get it there. It's a must.
Determination is inspiring you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And in talking about technology and social media, how has social media helped your brand at this point?
I keep telling people that if they sing social media, I don't know what's going to happen, because although we thrive with, I think a lot of my clients, I will say 70% is referral, and I'll say 30% is social media. But would I say that it hasn't played a role? Absolutely not, because even when you have friends refer you, people still want to see the work that you've done.
Yeah.
And then that's a pace where they can see the portfolio other than a website to say, okay, this is a portfolio of the work this person has done. And you can connect. When you look at someone's Instagram page, you can almost connect and say, okay, this is the kind of person, or this is the kind of event this person likes to put out. And then from there, you can then say, okay, let me then give it a try. Because sometimes you recommend people and then you see their work and like, nah, listen. So yeah, people can recommend you just because you're family or your friends, but then when you see it, and I think that's what Instagram does, gives you an avenue to showcase what you do. And then you have no choice but to do it well.
You've done Instagram really good before other people were doing Instagram really well. Did you do that? Did it happen by accident, or were you always purposeful about just showing your work?
Earlier, I would say maybe 2021 was when I started being very purposeful about it. Before, I literally, and I think that I still do a bad job at it, to be honest.
I disagree.
Really?
I disagree. Because
I beat myself up a lot. I'm like, this page doesn't look as nice as I want this page to look. You need to follow the grid. You need to, it's not looking the way I want. You know what? Delete everything, I'll do it again. But yeah, in also trying not to apply too much pressure to myself, I just take it as, so I hired someone to say, okay, you know what? I know how I want this page to be. I know the pictures that I want to go on there. So not every picture makes our page. Not every event makes our page. And I think that's part of emotional intelligence for us as well, to say, rather than say, no, I will not take the job, I won't just post the job, because it's not the level of work that I want to put out to say this is what I did. Yeah. Because the level of work that you put out invites the type of people who call you. Exactly. Right. So rather than, if the client is not listening to me, rather than I'm fighting, because before we're emotional about it, I'm like, I don't want to work with this person. I start giving the person attitude. I don't feel like doing this job again. I just want to. That's not it. You're going to pay me for the job anyway. I might as well collect the money. I won't just showcase it, because it's not the level of work that I want to do, and there's no fight there. I mean, some people, I've heard people get angry at it that you didn't post my events, but they'll be fine, to be honest, because if you look at it, it's not something that I've advised you and you took our advice. And the reason why you've come to us is because you feel that we're the experts at this job, and you feel that we can direct you in the right path. So if you decide to take the path where you're making decisions on your own, and it's not looking like what we would like to put out as the job, or the job that we're trying to sell to people, the dream we're trying to sell to other brides, then we won't put it up.
Do you feel like when that clash happens, is it that the client is not buying into your vision, or they're just so particular about something?
Right. So over the course of time, I have also tried to understand their perspective and then drawing the line again. For example, if you tell me that you have a cook, it's a no for me. I won't do it. If you tell me that we're going to a hall that doesn't have a generator that would power the entire hall, maybe we have maybe like 2 or 3 halls in the entire of Lagos that power you, except it's a hotel. So if you go to like a hall like Civic Center or some halls that are purposefully built that already have the capacity to power, then you don't need to get a gen. Now, if a client comes to me and I tell them, oh, you need a backup gen because the generator in the hall goes off at any point, you have come to a complete hold at that event. The client says no to me. Before, I would take it emotionally, and then I'd be like, this person's not listening. Why are they not listening to me? But I don't do that anymore. I just send you an indemnity letter. Just sign it that I told you that this, if anything happens here, if you say, this generator is good, I don't fight it anymore. I just like, okay, you know what, just sign it. Now, what I've realized with my indemnity letters is when I pull them out, my clients readjust. You just say, it's not up to that. Why are you bringing out letter? Are we lawyers here? I'm like, no, there's nothing. It's just, you know what? I'm trying to safeguard my name.
Yes.
In a society where you don't want to keep quiet anymore. You don't want people to taint your name, and then you don't have evidence to say this is what happened, or how it happened, or this is my side of the story without having evidence. Yeah. So if for any reason you say, oh, this planner is a bad planner, or you're expecting 500 guests, you're aligned to the planner that you're expecting 300 guests, there's 700 people show up, and then there's no food, then you start saying, the planner is bad, don't know what they're doing. You know, there's evidence that I've already told you. In Nigeria, we don't eat one plate of food. Unfortunately, for whoever is coming here to do it, we don't eat one plate of food. That's how Nigeria is. And you know, and I think a lot of people know that when they go to events, you eat jollof rice, you eat Chinese. You can't sit down for 6 hours and not eat jollof rice. You eat amala, you eat small chops, you take cocktail, you eat desserts, you eat grills. It's just the Nigerian way of doing things. So when it's your turn to do it, and we're explaining to you to say, the event where you saw, or the event that the client referred me, was like this. That's how they had a good time. That's what people talk about. A lot of people don't remember the ambience at first. No. They remember the food they ate, how the food kept coming and they did not stop and they almost combusted from eating and they were very happy. That's the Nigerian way. And then every other thing. Yeah. So if you don't tell them food, exactly, they would, yeah. And then they don't come to the door and say, the decoration was so beautiful, but there was no food. They are going to tell you first. There was no food at that.
Everyone was hungry.
A big family, there was no food, you know? So you need to be able to understand the market that you're in and tailor to it first. In a place where you were charging per head, maybe in America and places like that, then it's easier for you to say, okay, you're going to use one plate of food and everybody just aligns to it. See, in Nigeria, it's like their birthrights. They need to eat like 5 times before they know that they've enjoyed that party. Yeah. So when I start to explain those things to you and then you rebel against them, those are things that will put me in a place where I feel my name can't be associated with this event. If people see it outside, no, but like if you're sitting down there and they see your tag, they'll be like, event planner, I'm not even joking. That's how Nigerians are. Yeah. It's the event planner first before any other thing. They don't want to care, oh, did you tell the client that the food is not going to be enough? Did they tell you no, the food will be enough? Or there's nothing like that. You know, so in situations like that before, I would have started saying, okay, I'm not doing the job anymore, let's just leave it. But I've realized that, you know what, we'll take off our tags, we won't work. Nobody knows that our company is working there. We'll do the job. I will not post. Yeah, I will not post it. So because you, like I was saying, a lot of growth needs to happen with you or transitioning as the planner for you to be able to safeguard yourself as well, your mental health. Everything. Yeah, and also not feel like you're fighting with the client, because sometimes you don't want to fight with anybody because you don't know where that person can be, and they're trying to put your name into a good book, and just a mere word from that person can smear the entire thing. Yeah. So you want everybody leaving feeling, okay, maybe I didn't get everything I want, but I know that this person told me and I didn't listen. So there's no fight. We're not fighting. We're not getting into an argument about it again. I told you didn't listen. So I've had times when they'll come back and say, I wish I listened to what you said. You know, so there's no fight. They'll come back the next time and say, okay, Shike, I want to use it for the job. But this time, anything you tell me, I'll do it.
Do you take time to get feedback from all of your clients after events?
Yes. So That's also one thing that I think we've tried, because again, our Nigerian events, or the Nigerian space entirely, doesn't thrive on feedback.
Why do you say that?
Yeah, I think that either you're scared, before you get the feedback, you almost know what you've done there. Majority of the time, at least, except the person is unreasonable. Majority of the time you have your feedback. So the culture where you then have to write to say, hi, can I get feedback? I think I struggled with that a lot. Not because I felt, if you had a bad review for me, I'm even happy to take it on. I'm not even joking, because it would not happen the next time. And what I've done is to make sure that if we drop the ball somewhere, we make sure we put plans on check for the next time, so that it doesn't repeat itself. Yeah. So I'm happy to take those feedbacks. But before, I'm always having cold feet, and it's from panic attacks of, hey, gosh, do I really want to talk to this person? Do I want to talk to this person? And there's some people who, even if you remove your head, the feedback going to be bad, and you already know, right? So there are times when I'm just like, you know what, we want to ask about it, whether good or bad. I think it's absolutely worth doing. So our typical process is, if you did your wedding on Saturday, we leave you Sunday and Monday, and then on Tuesday when we resume back to work, we say happy wedding, and then give you everything and pray for you, and then ask you if everything was fine and you had a good time. Please let us know if there's anything. And then just organically, the clients would typically say what they feel, or if they feel some type of way, they'll call you. A few of them that I've seen have worked in, the older couples that we've worked with will then call you to say, okay, we need to take your feedback after the wedding, to just talk about it. Nothing. It's just, but I think it's also stemming from their corporate organizations, the way they've taught them to work in corporate organizations. I think that's what it is. But the average younger crowd, they're off to Santorini or off to wherever, Seychelles. They're moving on. They're not bothered about it. So it's just trying to ask to say, okay, are you okay? And but we do ask.
The industry has changed so much since you began. And where do you think it's going in 2025, in the future?
It has changed, because when I started, I remember that there was no special effects. At my wedding, there was no low folk, there was no fireworks, and we were very happy, I promise you. I'm even happy we got married then. Because there was none of that. There was no after party, there was none of the jazz or the buzz of all these things. But as you go into it, things are evolving. I think what we will see more is infusion of tech into weddings a lot more. Give, for example, invitation cards. I feel like in the coming few months, or few years, it'll be phased out completely, if not. Because what is happening now is, people are doing barcodes, e-access, and stuff like that. People are like, there's no need to do a physical invitation and spend 7,000 naira on the card for them to just throw it in the bin. Yeah. Might as well just do an e-access and have a barcode. Even our old parents have phones. They all have WhatsApp. Yeah. Even if they don't have emails, they have WhatsApp. The old people have WhatsApp. They love
WhatsApp. Yes, that's their Facebook, that's their social media, that's their everything.
Exactly. So I think it's just trying to, I think the few percentage of still trying to get the physical cards is from culture. I think the culture of adults having a physical card, I don't know what it is with this, but it's just culture. I think it's just culture, and then by the minute, I think they'll get out of that. So I think we'll see a lot of that, and then maybe hopefully AI will be helping us reply to the couple soon. But I think tech, infusing tech, I don't know how they're going to infuse a lot of it. I think some people have tried to do menus as the tech way, but the Nigerian mentality is not helping out at all. So it's hard for you to have people sit on a table and take their orders online and then deliver it to their tables. Yeah. It's been a nightmare trying to get that to come through, because even if you've planned the tables ahead, one auntie is coming to tell you, I'm not sitting here. I'm going to sit with my friend, and you're not going to do anything about it. I'm like, no, we've planned this. There's nothing you are going to do about this. Yeah. I'm going to move.
You have to give them credit, because they stand 10 toes down.
No,
are dedicated to their point of view.
Yes, they are. They are. They are.
Because I have been related to some of them, and I'm just like, please, can we make it easier?
There's not like, it looks like they are ready to fight. I'm like, do you really want to fight? I say, yes. We're not moving. We're going to. In fact, you take the card and tear it. I tell you, tell me what you want to do. I'm like, okay, auntie. And then you also have to be careful with that as well, because you don't want that auntie who has a heavy influence on your bride's mom to go and meet her to say, your planner was rude to me. Meanwhile, in retrospect, the person is the problem. And you're wondering, why are you doing this? So there's a lot of, all that happening with us. And we try to manage it as much as we can. It can't be a lot. And then in time when it's a lot, I just back out from it and just sit in my car. But yeah.
So besides emotional intelligence, how much does cultural intelligence show up in the job?
A lot. And I think I would say I am blessed in that perspective as well. My parents are born bred Yoruba, first of all. I lived with my grandma since I was born, so I speak Yoruba very fluently. I understand what the Yoruba parent wants, a typical Yoruba parent, what they require from you. I think I know it. The mom who needs you to suck up to her, the one who needs you to speak English, the one who needs you to check up on her every other day, they come in different variations. So understanding those people and knowing that you can't have a successful event, especially if they're the ones paying, without you having their blessing. So it doesn't mean that they will have their way the entire time, but you need to let them feel like they have their way so that they can let you have your way.
How do you balance that with your bride's emotions?
There are times when I call, I usually pray for my brides, and I pray that we have the right ones, because when you have the right bride, it's easy for you to infuse. And at the beginning of each planning, for people that I feel like we've connected to a deeper level, I usually tell there are some battles not worth fighting, and that's the honest truth. Just choose your battles. You're going to get frustrated during this planning period. You are going to see your mom become erratic. Your aunties are going to be emotionally heightened. Everybody's feeling like they have a say in this wedding. So things that you feel like you can have control over, by all means. Things that you feel that you can change and the parents will not notice, by all means. The things where you know that your mom will die on this line, she's not going to change it, there's no point trying to fight it. You know, because it's either one person is going to get the backlash for it. If your planner doesn't get the backlash for it, you guys are going to get in a fight. And majority of the time, mother and daughter will end their fights. But planner and the woman, they're in bad book forever. So you want to make sure that she doesn't feel like, oh, this, because I've had mothers feel like as if it's their wedding, and they're trying to force their vision of the wedding that they didn't have years back on their kid. And then there's the kid there who is feeling, you know what, I'm done. I don't even feel like doing this wedding. Let her just do whatever she likes. I'm like, no, we can't do that. It's a once in a lifetime thing. It's an experience you want to cherish forever. So let's find the balance there, because there's really nothing about it. Let's just find the balance. So what makes you happy, we will try to tend to that, and then still tend to your mom and make sure that what makes her happy is there. Might not get it. We're negotiating, so we don't have to win. There's no win-win, but not everybody can compromise and you're happy, it's fine.
How do you navigate that with other cultures as well? Or do you find that they're similar to the way the Yorubas?
Pretty much. Mothers are, I feel like they're the same everywhere.
across cultures, colors, everything.
I feel like they're not different. What a typical mother is thinking about is her major concern is food. First of all, before any other thing. So make sure that her guests are well served. There's no segregation in terms of, oh, you're serving this person this and you're serving this person that. And I think that's like the major for them. If you're able to sort it out, to make sure that you put them in a place where they're heavily involved in the selection of the food, and they feel like they're making that decision and you're not influencing it. When you are influencing it at the back, but you are not influencing it in front of them, they're the ones making that decision, and they're fine. So I think for them it's cut across. Like I said, I won't even say it's a Yoruba thing. It's the moms, they're moms who want you to pet them, treat treat them like they're the brides. There are moms who, there are some moms that don't even care. They don't even want you to call them. Don't call me, just call the bride, you know. And then you want to act accordingly. Then there are the English office moms who want to go by the book and say, we're going to schedule a call at 5 p.m. today. She can be ready. And yeah, so you have to be able to speak the English when you need to speak the English. And if you're in Lagos Island, you need to kneel down for the moment. You can do it. Yeah, we're versatile like that. We can do every single work, every single person we can deal with. And I think meeting someone the first time, I can almost tell what kind of person this person is and how to deal with them.
Do you feel like I was going to say you're a master. Do you feel like you've mastered it by now?
I think so. I think so. I know when to step out of it as well completely and then just leave my team to handle it. When if I feel like I'm not being heard, and the client doesn't require a planner, they just require someone to say, do this, and then I just leave it to my team and say, okay, they're going to give you the instruction anyway, so you might as well just follow it and do what they want you to do. So I don't feel some type of way anymore. I just step out from it and then leave the lead producers in front to handle it. If we then feel like, okay, this person listens to what you have to say, then I'm ready to give it my all to say, okay, yeah, let's talk about it. But the people who already have a vision in their head, so you don't have to do any planning majorly. They just want to direct you and say, go here, get me invoice from A, B, and C. We do it and get it done.
And what international events have you done?
So we've gone to Dubai, we've been in London, we've been in Abu Dhabi, we're currently planning Greece, Cape Town, and Dubai again. And all of them were weddings. One birthday.
Okay. All destination weddings?
Yes.
Okay.
Destination weddings. The ones we're having coming up are weddings and birthdays.
Do you like doing international?
Oh, yes. I love them. It's completely different from what we do here. I think our first wedding in London was a 1,000 capacity wedding. We ran away from Lagos so that we don't have to have the guest size that we were meant to have, which would have been almost 3,000. So we ended up in 1,000.
Just a mere 1,000.
Wasn't a lot, but unlike Nigeria, where you are pacing back and forth, they kept saying stuff like, "Hi, it's time for everybody to sit down and have dinner." I'm like, huh? As like the MC will not be talking, we're just going to sit down. They say yes. I say, nothing. This is our event. The people that are here, they are Nigerians. 80% of these people flew from Nigeria, so there's no time. The MC will sit down, and all of us are going to have lunch for 1 hour. It's not going to happen. Food is going to keep flowing at this event till the very end. There's no time for lunch. There's no lunch time between 2 o'clock and 5. It's not possible.
How do you influence that or make sure that that's still executed?
So again, your relationship with the vendor, I think, matters a lot. If you go to the vendor and then go and be forming pompous, just tell them, sorry, please, this is how I do it, this is how I do it. To tell you how they do it, and there's nothing you can do about it. It's either you want to hire them or not. But however, if you go there and then you first build a relationship, a friendship, and then say, babe, I need you to help me. This is not Asi. I'm not even I'm not doing any shakara right now. I'm just begging. The kind of clients that I have cannot function with 1 hour or 2 hours where everybody sat and then they have lunch and then there's no dinner and there's no food happening again. It's not possible. It's not gonna work. So if you want to help me rejig your budget or your the way you work for this event, I'd really appreciate it. Charge us for it. Just let us make it work. Yeah. And it did work.
The Nigerian way of doing events is very unique. Do you feel like you want to stay loyal to that, or you're open to other ways of doing events in different places with different clients?
I like Nigerian events. I do.
It's a very unique experience.
Yeah, I like sometimes it's the rush, sometimes it's the panic, sometimes it's the it's a lot of things that are just happening in your head at the same time. And then it finally comes to life and then you're like, oh, okay, finally, good is good. But it's exciting. But I also want to step out of it sometimes and then say, okay, I also want to experience Santorini. I want to go to very nice places. I want to do outdoor weddings. I want to do a garden wedding. I feel like doing garden weddings in Nigeria is just stressful. It's hot. It's not comfortable. You know. So when you want to do stuff like that, I think just step out of the Nigerian balls and then get it done. And then, yeah.
Have you had a lot of non-Nigerian clients?
Not a lot, but it looks like we're taking quite a number of them on next year. Either the groom is Nigerian and the bride is not Nigerian, or the bride is Nigerian and the groom is not Nigerian, but we have a couple of them coming up. But again, in terms of service, I think they appreciate our service more because it's more of a structured company where you have timelines. It's a link to click to book your meetings. You're not just telling me randomly to say, oh, hi, when are you available this week? There's no timing, there's no schedule, there's nothing. We have that process already put in place where there's a calendar you just need to click into and say, okay, these are the times we're available. And then just click in and say, this is the time you want to pick for the meeting in the next 2 weeks. And there's a process flow, so you don't feel, and I feel like that's what people abroad cherish. And 80% of our clients are abroad. Yeah. Wow. I hardly have, of 100 of them, I would say 20% are in Nigeria. Wow. So majority of our clients we get to meet a week to the wedding sometimes. Most of us just talk on the phone for the better part of it. So I think they appreciate that process flow where there's that level of transparency, and then there's structure in place that if you don't meet me, there's someone else that you can speak to. It's not a one-man business where you feel like if the person is not available, the person is not available. I think that's what I've done to make sure that at least our clients feel confident in our job.
And talk about your processes and where you've come to today. For someone who's just starting out, brand new today, and wants to do what you've done, what would be your number one piece of advice?
Definitely have a contract before you start planning. Very important. And then the contract should state every single thing as clear as possible. Like if a layman picked it up and they read it to the person, there's no confusion in the service that you offer. There is no, the contract needs to be clear. Like once you read it, there's no, oh, I thought you said we're going to book on that 25 days. No, you want to be as clear and as direct as possible. And then look inwards and link into yourself and see things that you feel that will make you happy, because we need a happy planner to provide a beautiful event. So things that you are not overstretching yourself. And then maybe at the beginning, I know that people try to overstretch so that you can deliver. But as you go on, you realize that you need to set boundaries. So please, at the initial stage, I would say, you can hustle, because that's what I did. I hustle. So I won't tell you not to hustle. Please feel free to go for it. If you need to pick the call at 2 a.m. in the morning, by all means, for you to just gather those clients. But as you go on, you will realize what works for you and what doesn't work for you. There are people who it works for fine, who they can pick up the calls at 2 a.m. and there's nothing wrong with them. Our life journeys are different. You might not be married at the time, or you are married, or life journeys are different. So what works for you at the time, and then just be true to yourself. Be true to yourself and be happy in what you do. And then that's it. I think initially I won't say maybe hiring a lot of staff, maybe one person or you on your own, because I did it for a long time as well. And then as you then gather on the clientele, and then you feel like you have more than maybe 10 or 15 people that you're handling at the same time, then you can then have more people who you can delegate to take off the stress.
And last but not least, what is next for you?
I am honestly trying to find something outside of the event industry.
Okay.
I was having a conversation with my friend at least 2 months back, and she said, I'm 34 now. And she said, Shike, do you see yourself doing this when you're 50? I said, you mean waking up or sleeping at the venue? Because I sleep at the venue. If you see me at the venue, these babies, I sleep on the floor anywhere.
Still today?
If I have to set up overnight, I'm there. I'm sleeping there. So she's like, at 50, do you think you'll be sleeping in the venue? Hustling with somebody's mommy? And I'm like, I'm not sure. So I don't know if I want to drive this business to where I feel like I can hand it over to another MD that can take off as the face of the business, but keep running as smaller event planners that work under us, and then find something else to do. What I'm trying to look for to do, I don't know. I'm not sure. I I'm still praying to God. I haven't found it. But yeah.
All right. So future Etal Corporate, Etal Lagos, Etal London, Etal Dubai,
Etal Global.
Etal Global.
Other than that, yes, I think that I've already branched into those spaces already. It's just to how to make my feet planted in there to say, okay, we are it. When you want to count top 10 people that are doing corporates, then you want to put our names in there. Yeah.
Last. What is inspiring you these days?
I would say my mom first. And I've seen her work from absolutely nothing. From someone whose father thought or didn't believe in the girl child going to school, to who she is today, who she's built, what she's built for herself. And I just see her pushing through it, regardless of how tough it can be. She just keeps pushing. She just keeps pushing. What if this babe can push through all this as a single mother with 6 kids? What have I experienced, really? You know, how do I go to her to say, Mom, I'm tired, I feel like quitting. She'll be like, kill her shit. You know, and I think for me, when I look up to her, I see her even at 60 watts, still trying to open new business. And I'm like, Mommy, don't you want to rest? What's going on? She's like, there's no resting till you die. I'm like, there's resting, Mommy, you have to rest. So I think that's my number one inspiration. And having my kids just also look at me and say, okay, my mom is a strong foundation for who I want to be. My parents are hard workers. They prioritize work, prioritize family, and prioritize enjoyment. And there's a balance between all those things.
Yes.
Pretty much. I'm not being broke.
Period. Yep. Come against the spirit of poverty.
That's it.
That's my question. Yes, I love that. Thank you so much. Thank you.